How's it going, guys? It's your boy, Nick Golden. And today we are going to answer some of your questions that you submitted to us on our Instagram and Facebook. If you haven't seen our Instagram and Facebook before, our Instagram is at MDB Vlogsquad, and there'll be a link to our Facebook in the description. I would check those places out. It's the first place that we put stuff out ever. You guys submitted us some questions. You DM'd us questions. You commented. And we're here to answer them. We split it up amongst the Vlog Squad with what seemed most logical with who could answer what. And we're here to answer them. And if you ever have more, we can always do a follow-up video to this. So you can comment them. Or, of course, like I said, check out our Instagram page. All right, let's do it, guys. Sit back, open up a can of Mountain Dew, and let's do this.
Hey, Vlog Squad subscribers. It's Charles here to answer some questions y'all have sent in. One person asks, what's your best MDB audition advice? Funny you guys should ask that, because actually I'd probably say I had a pretty bad audition when I first came in. I ended up getting nervous, kind of choked, and got waitlisted. Almost didn't make the band last year. Fortunately, a spot opened up and I was able to get through. But my advice would be to not do what I did and get nervous and, do some deep breathing. Get relaxed, play just like you practiced, and let your talent do the work.
What is the process of becoming a member of the $1 Million Band? When do the results come out? And any advice you could give would be great. So here's how the process works. Around January or February, they usually drop the information on UA bands, and they list out, okay, so you have to get a recommendation from somebody. It's usually a director. At least this is how it was when I came in. You had to get a headband director recommendation. You have to sign up for an audition time. And when you do that, it can be, anytime. They have dates listed. It's usually just like a bunch of Saturdays in a row. Or you can do it during Honor Band, and I think they even do some during A-Day. Audition results usually drop in May. I believe when I got mine, like the first time I made it, it was late May, but it kind of depends on just whenever they can get everybody done. I'm sure it could take a little longer this year just because they have to do everything online. And percussion auditions and Crimson Ed auditions and all that is completely different. This is just brass and woodwind audition. So no matter what, always check the website. Here it is again. It's not the easiest to get into the MDB. There's a lot of people that try out for it. I was very lucky when I made it in. Don't get discouraged, and if you don't make it the first time, you can always try out again later. I know one of our current section leaders didn't make it the first time and ended up trying out. They were trying out on piccolo, I think, originally, and now they play trombone. They just learned a whole new instrument. So that's something super cool that you can do too. There's always an option. There's always a way to get in. So just keep your head up and practice really hard.
Hey guys, it's Sarah. Are there people in sororities and in the MDB? And if so, how did band camp align with Rush? Yes, there are quite a few girls that are in sororities and in the MDB. I only know a few. I'm personally not in a sorority, so I don't have first-hand experience with this, but I know if you decide to rush in the fall for one of the big sororities, that is during band camp. So the only time you'll have to go is during our lunch break, which is 2 hours, but of course you have to eat, and you have to, if you're gonna go to a sorority, you need to be running around everywhere, which I'm sure is a hassle, but it's definitely manageable. I know there are a couple people in Alpha Omicron Pi, I believe, and some other larger sororities. So yes, it is possible to do so. It's just during that band camp, during that rush, it is quite the juggle, and I really think to get in the sorority that you want, if it's a bigger one, you probably have to really prove that you really want to be a part of their organization, because you won't have as much time with them as the other girls. So that is definitely something that you have to think about. There are also tons of sororities that do a spring rush. I know one of our current trombone players, Josie, she actually did spring rush for Alpha Delta Pi, and she got a bid from them, which is absolutely fantastic. She's involved with them now. I really think she enjoys it. So that's definitely an option. There are also some sororities and fraternities, for that note, that are more academic based, less social based. They still do tons of social events, but they're more like business frats or a STEM sorority or whatever. So those, actually, some of them will host their rush during the school year, so during the beginning of the school year, in like September, October, and then you get your bid in November or something like that. So that's definitely still possible, because most of their events will be in the evening after band practice. And yes, it's definitely possible to be part of a sorority and be in the MDB.
Hello boys and girls, and welcome to Hammocking with Suzy, where you ask questions that I'm not qualified to answer, and then I answer them anyway. First question, how do we support the MDB going to Macy's? Beautiful question, actually. Love that one. So we're doing Bama Blitz. We don't know how that's going to work out with everything being online and canceled and whatever. So basically, we're going to have all these links that we're going to send out, and you can bet for sure that they're going to be on the our Vlogsquad page and our own personal Instagrams. So be on the lookout for those. Follow those below. They're somewhere in the description. Nick put them in the description. When we get those links, we'll send them out, and then you can donate money and send us to Macy's. Please donate money so we don't have to drive to New York.
Is 8A canceled? Yeah, 8A got canceled. The SEC, and I'm sure the NCAA did too, cancel all of spring football because of the virus. At this point, I'm just holding out that nothing happens to this year's football. I don't think it will. There's speculation everywhere, but I don't think we can know at this point, but I'm hoping for football.
Okay, so Nick told me to answer these questions, and I'm gonna do that. What's your best advice for trying out for a drum major? Best advice I can give is that you make sure that you lead without a title, because you don't need one to be a leader. One thing I would always tell myself is that there's always someone watching me, even if I'm not a section leader or a brass captain. There's always someone watching me, so I would tell myself. So I would always make sure I was working hard, make sure I had my toes up, make sure I marched the best I could do, make sure I played the best way I can, and make sure I had a positive attitude when like the rehearsal wasn't going well. That's very important. I think a positive attitude and work ethic are two of the biggest things that make a good drum major.
What camps does the university do to work with high school students? Usually we have Crimson Camp. There's two of them. There's Crimson Music Camp and Crimson Leadership Camp. And they're both within like the first week of June. But I think this year they're both canceled. Be on the lookout for the June 2021 dates.
What is the difference between drum corps and college marching band? Okay, so none of us in the Vlogsquad have marched drum corps, but my dad is a band director and he knows a lot of people that does it. So, and I'm a super fan of drum corps. So out of all of us, I feel like I know the most to be able to explain it. Not that I have any experience. Drum corps is competitive and college marching band is not. Drum corps, of course, there are no woodwinds. It's just percussion, brass instruments, and color guard. The other thing that is really different, I would say, is the length of the show. In college, we only have 6 minutes on the field for halftime. They have 15 minutes on the field total. I can't remember the exact rules, but most shows are about 12 and a half minutes long-ish. The other thing that's really cool, I think, is the fact that they march a lot more sets. They do a lot harder stuff. Overall, drum corps is a lot harder. Marching band in college is all about going with the team, being, the cheerleaders, the biggest organization on campus. That's what we're about. We travel with the team a good bit of the time, and mostly it's just about being part of the Alabama Nation. That's what we do here.
How many trombones does the MDB have? Okay, so when I was section leader, we had 40, but 2 had to drop out. So there's 38 for most of the season. But usually there's about 40 to 42 every year. 38 is not a common number. There's usually definitely in the 40s.
What was it in 9th grade that kept you motivated? It was definitely the people for me. We personally, we didn't really have the best music since we didn't compete. We didn't have the best marching, but it was definitely the people that made it worthwhile. I had a lot of friends from middle school coming into it that I would hang out with, but they were all in different sections. And then once I really got comfortable with my own section, it really blossomed there for me. I made a lot of friends. My current boyfriend was a trombone player in high school with me. One of my best friends was a trombone player in high school. I'm sure you all have understood. We were one of the only two girls, a couple of the only girls, so we really stuck together and became really great friends that way. But yeah, it was definitely the people. They were just, my section was so goofy. They were so fun, always playing pranks. We had the greatest cheers at football games. It was just incredible. It was definitely the people. And I can honestly say, adding on to a little bit of that first question, that moving on to the MDB, where it has been, it actually has been a little bit harder for me personally, just because my high school marching band wasn't too, because we didn't compete, we weren't like the top of the mark, like Texas band, So coming into MDB, it was a more difficult experience for me, learning how to march that very specific style and playing together, like the acoustics, learning about all that, just to make a very solid performance. So I definitely say the pressure was on for me freshman year, especially memorizing all my music. In high school, we didn't memorize all our music because we didn't compete. So memorizing was definitely a lot of pressure, but in terms of motivation, it was still the people, the section, the music has been incredible. But yeah, that's really what kept me motivated, was the people, sometimes the music, but the people was definitely the section. It was fantastic.
Well, it's a little bit different for me because I always was around band. My dad, like I said, is a band director. So for me in 9th grade, I was motivated by the fact that, I'm from Texas, and in Texas, it's all about the competition of marching band. That I was obsessed with, not just because I wanted to beat somebody. That's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to be the best. I would say if you're not from a place that's as competitive as my high school, motivate yourself by just wanting to be better. If you truly love music, then you're going to truly want to perform the music to the best of your ability. And I think that can be a really, really healthy thing if you think about it the right way. And I promise by the time you don't want to quit. I promise you don't want to quit. For a lot of reasons. I mean, one, people will make fun of you. Nah, I'm just kidding. But also because you don't want to give up on this amazing thing. I know for me, if I didn't have this band in college, there's so many people that are in my life that I just would not have. And you can just see that across the board. Even though maybe all our marching band experience is different, but it's okay. It's great to see that everybody comes together for this appreciation of just being together as a band, and that's something that you would miss out on. So I'd say motivate yourself around your friends, around being the best musician that you can, and just enjoying the heck out of band, because man, I only have 2 more years left of MDB, and I don't know what I'm gonna do when it's over. So
For me, motivation was never an issue. I always knew that I wanted to come to UA and join the band here, so I always had that motivating factor behind me. But I think this person was talking specifically about how hard it was for them to adjust to like marching and playing. And I understand that a lot. That was really hard for me to do. The one thing that I did was every time I picked up my instrument, I made sure that my feet were moving when I was playing. And even when I wasn't playing, my feet, I still had like a metronome on, and I was listening to the metronome and just learning how to move my feet to different tempos and learning how they feel.
Well, my motivations were kind of interesting, actually. I had been part of a swim team since I was 6, and beginning high school, you guys probably know, band is a huge time commitment. So I essentially had to, throw away practicing swim, something I had spent 8 years doing already for 3 months every year. And that was hard, but what kept me motivated was, just seeing my progression, how I improved throughout the year, the looks and the applause from people's faces whenever they see a good show that they like. But most of all, what kept me going was the feeling that you did your part and did your best on the field. That's just the feeling I get every time I have a good performance, and about the best feeling there is when it comes to marching band, knowing you killed it out there.
All right, y'all, that's all the questions we have. Thanks so much for watching. And again, you can always ask us a question. We're always here for you. The best place to reach us at MDB Vlogsquad on Instagram. Subscribe, follow us, and roll tide, y'all.